You violate, I'ma demonstrate.
Well, stop trying to let flow, but you trying to
steal
quotes and stuff.
You trying to steal quotes, brother. You violate, I'ma demonstrate.
I want y'all to play them tapes back with Floyd saying everything this man saying. You trying to steal Floyd whole flow. Real quick, brother.
After the fight, you violate, I'ma demonstrate.
Well, stop trying to let flow, but
you violate, I'ma demonstrate. You violate, you violate, you violate, you violate, you violate, I'ma demonstrate.
If you violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
You already know what I say. You violate and I demonstrate.
Stop trying to let flow, but you trying to steal quotes and stuff.
You trying to steal quotes, brother. You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
I want y'all to play them tapes back with Floyd saying everything this man saying. You trying to steal Floyd whole flow. Real quick, brother.
After the fight, play this clip. Look,
this my fight. My whole thing up here to change how y'all over here playing. You feel me? So Floyd, he did his thing. I salute to him. He actually one of my favorite fighters. That was his game plan, that was his blueprint. You can't sit here and try to take everything that man did and just run it. That worked for him. Run your own play, brother. You know what I'm saying? So I'm finna sit here and do my thing.
Get off my dick.
Sit here and
you on my so
you
hard.
Floyd,
you really a fan. You really a fan. I'm not on no.
All my years of hard work and dedication. Hard work, dedication.
When I clean up the division, they gonna say, oh, well, he didn't fight nobody. Them guys, they wasn't nothing. Tank wasn't nothing. Ryan wasn't nothing. T.O. wasn't nothing. They're gonna say that these guys wasn't nothing.
Never good enough. No matter who I beat, it's never gonna be good enough. If this was Pacquiao tonight, they'll be like, okay, you beat Pacquiao, but you ain't beat Mosley. So, like I said before, I'm always in a nowhere situation. but then they say, well, you didn't fight Margarito, but then I dominated the dude who beat Margarito. Then what they gonna say now? So,
I promise you, I'm knocking Ryan out.
That's good. All right, well, y'all already didn't heard it.
And you know, he didn't promise to see that I'm levels above this dude. Like I said, he's a C-level fighter. I'm an A+ fighter, and I'm gonna show it.
Ryan Garcia is a C-level fighter. He got a big name, but you know, I'm an A+ fighter.
Well, it really don't matter to me. He can bring the pressure. He can box. I'm a true champion. I'm willing to go to his turf in Atlantic City. I'm gonna step on him. I'm gonna crush him. Y'all can mark my word to this. I'm gonna crush him. He's a C+ fighter. I'm an A+ fighter. Come Saturday night next week, all the fans tune in because I'm gonna dominate. This guy is flat-footed. He swing wild. I'm not worried about who his trainer is because his trainer can't get in there and fight for him. The fans in Atlantic City can't get in there and fight for him. I'm ready mentally, physically. I want all the fans to tune in.
It's a personal message for Devin Haney. Everybody knows it, but don't nobody think about it. For Bill Haney, Devin Haney, we gonna turn him. We gonna smother him. We gonna run from him. We gonna box him. We gonna make him look. We gonna handicap him. Just what I gotta say to y'all. We gonna do all of that. We gonna hide in the ring. We're gonna hide outside the ring.
You just got here. Well, what took you so long? Huh? I thought you had got cold feet. I've been looking for you. But one thing about Oakland niggas, yeah, ain't nothing slow. We the first on the block for the cheese, and we're the last motherfuckers to leave. November 22nd.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, BOXINGEGO unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing dads gone wild. As we get close to Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney, things are definitely starting to heat up. In this video, I'm going to go over some quotes and preview the fight before the fight. What up, Fight World? It's your boy, Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, the clip you seen at the beginning was Brian Norman Sr., and he's in Saudi Arabia now. They just arrived. Devin has been there for weeks. And he basically showed, I guess they have a gym or whatnot. And it was the quote from Mike Tyson. Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. And that was the quote on there. So he was like, we're going to box Devin. We're going to use lateral movement. We're going to be in front of him. We're going to basically do all of the things necessary to handicap Devin Haney and secure the victory. The other clip was Bill Haney, father, trainer, manager of Devin Haney, and he's taunting the Normans because they've been in Riyadh season, set up camp, and ready to go, preparing, doing the final touches on camp. And the Normans just got there. Then Bill said, we thought y'all was getting cold feet. Now, Bill likes to chatter, and I feel like everybody in boxing knows that at this point. Nothing that I've seen from Brian Norman or his father indicates that they would pull out of the fight for fear or get cold feet, so to speak. Beyond that, Brian Norman's a champion, so the fight's already signed. It's probably a career high payday, maybe for both, but definitely for Brian Norman. So I highly doubt that he doesn't want, win, lose, or draw, that type of associated payday, because I'm not sure that he's made over $1 million, but certainly after this fight, he'll make $1 million, right? So I don't even know why Bill said that. And the funny thing is about the Haneys, and come to my channel, because the Haneyacks, they are not going to tell you any of this. The Haneyacks content creators, Devin the Dream can do no wrong. So there's no other side. There's no other fair commentary. It's just Devin's perfect. Devin is Black Jesus and the Messiah and all this type of stuff. That's how they act. But me, I'm a boxing fan. Before any fighter, I'm a boxing head and a boxing fan. And I made a video about it, but Brian Norman, so far, he has comported himself very well, considering he's the guy that don't have the experience. What do I mean? In terms of accomplishments, accolades, Brian Norman is the guy who hasn't been undisputed. Let the Haney say it. Haney said he's a bum. Haney said all of the guys he fought, I don't know any of them. And he basically suggested that it was a top ranked special and they nurtured, groomed, and pretty much he's a paper champion. And through Top Rank's matchmaking, Brian Norman became a champion and pretty much had it the easy way. Now, although I do agree Devin has a better resume and is more accomplished, I feel like what's happening in boxing right now is cap. It's a whole lot of cap. Let me explain. You'll have, let's say, two fighters, and then a person has a better resume. Like, if you're just looking at it on some linear stuff, this resume is better. However, there's a big however. I feel like in this modern age of boxing, there's not that many people who are under 30 years old that have an illustrious resume where it's like, this is some Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao type of resume, Oscar de la Hoya, right? However, people are taking the subtle difference and better resume, in this case, Devin Haney, and then they're blasting off, making it seem like Devin's resume can be compared to Oscar de la Hoya. That's where we got to pump our brakes. Again, I just admitted Devin's resume is better. Devin has achieved more accolades and milestones. He's moved up multiple weight classes, been a champion at 35, been a champion at 40, right? He did fight a Lomachenko, etc. Fought Ryan Garcia. But this still is not like James Toney level stuff for Felix, Tito Trinidad, Bernard Hopkins. And that's how some people make it out to be. Let's be real. Lomachenko, back half of his career, he started boxing as a pro. He was already like 26 years old. And he got like 19 fights with 3 losses or whatever. So for me, I think Lomachenko's good, but I also think that old media like overrated him. And you could really argue that Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. There's a strong argument to be made there. But he still fought him, so we give him credit. But I feel like people are in an effort to try to make it look like it's super night and day and like Devin is just climb Mount Everest and Brian Norman's some bum. I wouldn't go that far. Names like Jojo Diaz, even Kambosos. Like Devin became undisputed, the youngest undisputed. You can't take that away from him. Great accomplishment, looks good in the history books. However, we're still talking about George Kambosos, and for me, I think George is a cool dude, but you look at before the Teofimo fight, he had back-to-back split decision wins, Mickey Bay and Lee Selby. Mickey Bay had been pretty inactive, who trains Devin Haney, but he had been pretty inactive and came back and almost won or came close to the point where it's split decision. And I never really even rated Lee Selby, right? And George Kambosos is barely eking by those guys, an inactive Mickey Bay, and then Lee Selby, who I've never rated as like the truth. Then on one night, things go wrong for T.O. He does his thing, but on that given night, he becomes a unified champion. This stuff happens in boxing time and time again. And I feel like some people, if you don't know the sport of boxing, you don't know the history to know that boxing is mano y mano. Boxing is a sport where all you have to do is conquer. And I'm not saying it like it's easy, but what I'm saying is a person could have a horrible camp, a horrible weight cut, and have an off night while another person has their best night. Boom. That person automatically, if they execute on their game plan, will be a champion. And to me, looking back, that's kind of what happened with Kambosos, right? Because you look at Kambosos after the Teofimo fight, I can't really say what would happen because they didn't rematch. So we don't have any data there. So I have to look at who he fought elsewhere after Teofimo. Every name he fought, Kambosos pretty much lost. Lomachenko stopped him. Devin beat him twice. I don't even think he beat the Maxie Hughes or whatever. And again, this is not somebody that me personally, I'm rating highly. Like, oh man, Maxie Hughes is a formidable guy and he's boxing's best. And then you look at guys like Maxie Hughes, who you could really argue beat Kambosos, and it was a robbery because of politics. He later goes on and gets stopped by William Zepeda, who Shakur Stevenson end up beating right after. So Kambosos fought him, he got robbed, then he fights William Zepeda, and I thought Tevin Farmer beat William Zepeda, and Shakur beat him on paper. So it's like, how good is even William Zepeda? So that's the problem that I'm talking about in this modern age of boxing. People are taking these young fighters and they're having some good nights, and you know, some haven't fought the best and all the elite names, and then people are trying to put like a fake resume together in like credence to make it look like some of these young cats are super accomplished, right? Kambosos' best night was the T.O. fight. He did his thing. He was hurt after he had dropped T.O. in the first round. He almost got stopped in that fight. People don't bring that part up, right? And then, like I said, we could pull it up. We could do the knowledge. As Fredro Starr said, every other fight after Richardson Hitchens, look, he's still suspended from that Richardson Hitchens fight. Suspended indefinitely. Look, 22-4. Everything I'm saying checks out. So yeah, Devin beat him in 2022 twice, coming off the T.O. thing. So again, something T.O. couldn't do, but to be honest, is really looking like T.O. had an awful night and Kambosos had his best night and capitalized. But after Devin, so these are 2 losses. After that, again, he should have lost to Maxie Hughes. He fought Lomachenko, got stopped. Jake Wiley, I don't even know who that is, right? He beat this one guy, which is a 16-1 guy. So like a tune-up after being stopped by Lomachenko. And then when he stepped back in with a name, Richardson Hitchens, he got stopped again. So bottom line, people are overrating Devin's resume as if it's like this miraculous resume that boxing has never seen. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't view it that way, right? I'm not taking anything away from him. I just don't see it like that. For example, I still haven't seen Devin fight somebody like Brian Norman, somebody who's younger, who's about your size, has some intangibles like power, decent length arms, those types of things. Devin, if you look at his whole resume, the person that most closely matches that, pretty even in age, similar arm reach, similar size, has some power and speed, Ryan Garcia. That's the person that comes to mind, and we know what happened in that fight, right? Ryan Garcia does, I don't care what you say about him, he is fast, and he does have elite timing. Never been a champion, you can say all that type of stuff. So for me, this is probably Devin's most important fight, even more so than the Lomachenko. Again, for me, I don't rate Lomachenko as highly as some of you do, right? Lomachenko is good. I'm not going to bash him or say he's trash or whatever, but to me, this is a more dangerous fight with Norman than Lomachenko because Devin looked pretty big next to Lomachenko, who at the point was older. He was like 30, whatever, 35 or whatever age he was when Devin fought him, right? So smaller, older. Loma also is more, he has respect. He's like a Amir Khan type of power. He's not, I'm not saying he's fighting like Amir Khan, but I'm saying they have similar power, meaning it's respectable enough where they could get some stoppages, especially if they start putting their punches together. You know, the attrition might get you, or they might be able to drop you, stuff like that. But it's not over the limit type power like a Gervonta Davis, a Better Biev, or even the aggressive nature of a guy like David Benavidez, where he's so aggressive and he's throwing so many punches. If he hurts you, if you don't do something quick, you're probably getting stopped or it's going to get ugly for you. Same thing with Gervonta and Better Biev. These guys are top 90% punchers, right? So if they hurt you, if you don't get them to back up off you and you start getting these big hits, bow, 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 you know, hit with these big shots, then you're well on your way to getting stopped. Like Hector Luis Garcia, when he fought Tank, I knew the end was near because he was getting touched up too much in that round and he pretty much had to quit on the stool, right? Loma is not that type of puncher where he's just going to get you out. He threw like 1,000,000 punches at Jose Pedraza and couldn't stop him. He hurt him very badly, but you know, Loma, just like the Comey fight, he can hurt these guys, but to really tip it and push it over the edge and finalize the job, he's not always going to do that. Versus Tank, if he has you hurt and you can't get out the way of extra shot, you're getting knocked out, right? So Devin, bigger, younger, had a lot of momentum, fighting a smaller, older, moderate punching power Lomachenko. Loma's best attributes was his style and his experience. And you could argue that he won the fight. But the B Norm fight is so much a different fight where Brian Norman don't fight like a Lomachenko. Like, he's not going to give you all these angles necessarily, but he got bricks for hands in both hands. And if we do the numbers and look at the numbers, they're pretty formidable. And here's the thing. We'll go over it real quick. Devin is listed 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. Brian Norman, we'll look at him. He's an inch shorter, 5'8", but he has an inch longer reach. And he has power, legit power for 147 in both hands. And he's aggressive, right? Which, if Devin fights right, then, you know, he's going to try to make him pay. But here's why the fight becomes interesting. I see Devin Haney fans, and they're pretty much devoid of real boxing conversation. It's like fanboyism, pure man fans, right? People are like, oh, he's going to knock out Brian Norman in the first round, second round, third round. It's boxing. Anything's possible. But Devin has a 46% knockout percentage, right? And you have to, when you fight a dangerous puncher, the first couple rounds are usually the most dangerous because you're 100% battery, 100% energy, right? So if Brian Norman fights like he's always fought, then you don't want to get caught early while a person's at their freshest. So people calling for a Devin early knockout, again, he hasn't really had a knockout since 2019, right? Yeah, 2019 right here. Zaur Abdullaev. And then before that, he had a cold knockout over Antonio Moran. But this is an 11-0 guy, and this is Antonio Moran, who had been beaten 3 times. So these aren't, to me, Brian Norman is nicer as a champion than these guys, right? And look at this. You look at him now, he lost again to Ray Murataya. So at the end of the day, this is a super duper dangerous fight for Devin, in my opinion, especially early, first half of the fight, because you're finally in there with somebody who, again, Brian Norman is conducting himself pretty well, considering he's the guy that ain't accomplished nothing. And Devin said he's a bum. You know what I mean? He's the guy where I really have him up in the pre-fight banter. You haven't heard as much trash talk from the Haneys. Like Bill Haney's been radio silent. Normally he's like, oh, Regis Prograde, Regis, oh, Regis, and all in the video. But you could tell the Haneys are taking this serious because they locked in, and you didn't really hear too much banter from the Haneys. But the reason why I'm giving Brian Norman the edge is because he's been more cunning. He's been a better spokesperson. And like, he called out Devin Haney for stealing Floyd Mayweather's swag, right? And I made a post about it. Make sure you guys follow me. Brian Norman Jr. rips Devin Haney for biting Floyd Mayweather and stealing his entire swag, which I've already made an unpacked video. I'll try to put a card at the end of this video. Please check it out. It's what I've been saying for the longest. Devin needs to be his own person, his own character. You'll get so much more respect. If you went to private school or homeschool, whatever you had going on, cool, be that person. People will respect it more. But then when you act like super thug and you get to these face-offs and you can't even come up with your own lines, you're just reciting what Floyd has already put out on HBO 24/7 on all accesses, is looking real Lil Zane-ish. I live a life of celebrity. A made figure way bigger than a man. You looking like Lil Zane when he was trying to rap like Pac. Saying all the, I'm a mobile phone, the enemies in the Hennessy. That's Pac. You're taking Pac's whole flow. You're using Floyd's choice words verbatim. Like, you're not even switching it up. You're not changing the tempo. Floyd has this little stutter thing he does. Devin be doing it. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what we talking about?
You violate, I'm gonna violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
Well, stop trying to let flow, but you trying to
You
steal,
violate,
quotes and stuff.
You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
Brother.
You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
I want y'all to play them tapes back.
You already know what I say. You violate and I demonstrate.
You trying to steal Floyd whole flow. Real quick, brother. You can't sit here and try to take everything that man did and just run it. Run your own play, brother. You know what I'm saying? See him out here.
You on my so
you
hard.
On Floyd,
you really offend. You really offend. I'm not no nigga.
Get your own stuff, man. Get your own style. Get your own look. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got your own swag going on, brother.
That was a bad look, bro. Brian Norman cooked him because he got caught stealing Floyd's lines, called out for it, put on the spot, had no real rebuttal. He literally went into panic mode and kept reciting the Floyd line. So if a person's called you out for stealing, for plagiarizing, and then you go in panic mode and just keep repeating said line that you got called out for stealing, that don't even make sense. But that shows he doesn't have a personality of his own. I truly see why Bill Haney be doing a lot of the talking in interviews. Why I haven't seen Devin Haney on Vlad TV, but Bill Haney's been there a couple of times, right? That's probably the reason, because Bill is a better loudspeaker than Devin. Devin can't think on the fly for himself, right? He said, you violate, I'm gonna demonstrate. And the dude said, stop trying to be like Floyd. You trying to be, you took that man whole swag, his whole flow. Stop trying to be like, and then if you listen, all Devin did was keep reciting and he went into panic mode. He's like, you violate, I'm gonna demonstrate. You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate. You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate. What good is that doing if a person just said you biting off Floyd and then you just keep repeating the line that you bit from Floyd? I don't even understand that. So that shows me that he doesn't have like the wittiness or personality of his own. So Brian Norman absolutely cooking him in the pre-fight banter department.
Straight. Violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
Well, stop trying to let flow, but you trying to steal
quotes
and stuff.
You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
Brother.
You violate, I'm gonna demonstrate.
I want y'all to play them tapes back.
You already know what I say. You violate and I demonstrate.
Bro, you literally just repeated it 3 times after he called you out for it. Who does that? And then he said, F you, get off my dick, you on my dick. Man, you jealous of me. Like, bro, you gotta get some better lines, bro. You gotta get one of them ear monitors where people start feeding you the lines and tell you what to say. Cause to me, that exchange didn't look good. Brian Norman, and it wasn't just that. That was just an element. But some of the other clips, I haven't watched the whole face off, but some of the other little parts I've seen, Brian Norman, he's like, I'm gonna knock you out, I'm gonna cook you. He just sounds like he's being himself and he sounds very confident. Now, Brian Sr., he also spoke to Devin Haney copying. He says, all you ever heard is, I'm levels above this and I'm gonna show it. That's what you heard because that's what FLoyd Mayweather said. And he doesn't know what else to say. He's limited. He's got a limited vocabulary. This is what Brian Norman is saying. He doesn't have any sauce like Brian Norman Jr. He can't operate without a mind that he learned from FLoyd Mayweather. He's got to go off of something that he read from a book or he studied for 20 or 15 years. Brian Norman Jr. got his own mind. Devin Haney does not. He's an effing robot. In every single fight, he says, I'm levels. He's a C- fighter. Haney, this is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you to say you got a whole career to operate and you're going to keep saying the same ish. They're not bright people. The Haneys, they're not smart people. Bro, the Haneys, if we're just being real, in the trash talk department, they're cooking the Haneys, cooking them with extreme prejudice. They are cooking them because it's like comedy. For me, when I listen to a stand-up comedian, the funniest stand-ups are when Eddie Murphy is talking about you want McDonald's and you're like, Mom, I want McDonald's. And she says she gonna make you McDonald's. And you like, that ain't McDonald's. The whole Eddie Murphy Raw joke was funny because everybody can relate if you're of the culture, probably, right? You can relate to you wanting a McDonald's burger and your mom's like, nah, we got McDonald's at home. I'm gonna make you. And she putting bell pepper in the McDonald's and stuff. So that relatability just makes you laugh because you're like, man, oh, I remember that. Remember you used to get whooped, you know, and the comedian saying something about getting whooped. And if you experience that, you're like, oh man, I remember them days. That's funny. And it just becomes funnier. So I agree with Brian Norman Sr. His son is at least being his own person. Like, for example, in my opinion, Brian Norman got the kind of delivery in the tonality in the dialect of a T.I., right? Because he's from Atlanta, he's from the A. So he got that Southern drawl and kind of that T.I. type of flow. But for me, even though he got that, he not quoting ATL movie and like, hey, Nunu, hey, Shotty. You know what I mean? And he not like overly trying to embrace the fact that, hey, I'm from Atlanta, and he not trying to be like T.I. Like, hey, say Jet, I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah, stack on deck. I'm the rubber band man. You know, I felt it was mighty hoish of him and dubiastic, you see. Like, he not trying to be tipped with the big words or other Atlanta people. He not trying to be like, load up. The incredible, untouchable ninjas been invented by the body with the dopest flow. And wonder why the lines around the corner because the little mother at the dopest show. 2 times for my independent women that be getting that cake. Bro, he's not trying to be like somebody else. Like he could be inspired by Luda. They don't like me to tell this. Debuted at #1 in so more records than Elvis. Shut up. He not trying to do that. And I can respect it because it would be easy to look at Jeezy or Outkast, T.I. and Luda and people that your dad was probably playing when you was young, and people like whoever else is from the A, Young Thug or whoever, and try to emulate them. But Brian Norman is being his own person. Devin Haney is not. He literally, I did the video and I added stuff to it. He keep stealing FLoyd direct quotes. You're not even like flipping it. Like, I rap. I've made music. Like, I've been in the booth and spit. And you'll hear people like Jay-Z. When the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling will I diss? And that's Biggie, right? But Biggie was his actual homeboy, and he never dissed Biggie, right? And he flips, like he'll take somebody's like, you know, he even had Eminem, where he's like flip Eminem lines, right? Like when he said, I used to give a but now I give a less. What do I think of success? It sucks, too much stress, too much. That's Eminem, right? You know your music, you know that's M, Marshall Mathers. But he's friends with him. Devin and Bill, the only ones who've openly dissed FLoyd. Bill talking about we sent FLoyd into retirement and whooped him in sparring, disrespecting him. That's why I remember FLoyd was like, your son needs some help. He's like, man, what we asked you for a mother thing? And he was like, he needs some help the other night. He needs some help the other night. Talking about the Ryan fight. So the bottom line, if you know what I'm talking about. The Haneys, they're like perpetrating. You're trying to be something you're not. You emulate, both of y'all. You try to emulate FLoyd's whole blueprint, but then you diss him. Who does that? How you gonna diss? Like, it reminds me of Cassidy when he was on this smack and he was like, how you gonna battle me with a style that I made up? How are you gonna battle me with a style that I made up? You my son, you should thank you take my flip it around and now you think you slick, but I guess you think you trash. No, he said, I guess you think you cash. I think you and I spanked that. You ain't ucking with me. It wouldn't even rap like that if it wasn't for me. Wow. I been had my weight up. How you gonna battle me with a style that I made up? Right? Y'all know I've been dropping mad hip hop quotes, so y'all know I know my hip hop. But it don't make sense. Where I'm from, that don't make sense. You perpetrating, emulating, and trying to be like the next dude, but then you dissing him too. Like, how you gonna steal from him, but then diss him too? They don't even make sense. So the Normans, in terms of the pre-fight banter, they cooking. Maybe on fight week, Devin and his dad can go back to the drawing board and come with some stuff, or at the final press conference. But I'm saying right now, as of this video, from what I've seen, Brian Norman is cooking him. He's cooking him. He has the better lines, him and his dad. Like the interviews I've seen from Brian Sr., they just sound very confident. They sound very confident. Bill saying stuff like, man, you just got to Saudi? I thought you was about to get cold feet. Like, what? Where did that even come from, bro? Cold feet for what? You know what I mean? I can't wait. It's gonna be a good fight. Again, I really feel this is way more dangerous than any Devin Haney fight, including Ryan, because Ryan is dangerous, but Ryan was halfway not even taking it serious. And I seen Ryan, and if you want, I'll make a video about it. Let me know in the comment section. Put Ryan Garcia video, and then I'll think about making a video for it. But Ryan says he's picking Devin Haney to beat Brian Norman. My thing is this: I don't really, boxing commentary is pretty trash, right now, with the exception of me, of course. And when the fighter has any type of connection to the fight actually happening, I really don't care about their opinion. Like, if you ask Shakur about Keyshawn, he always gonna pick Keyshawn or Crawford, right? And to be honest, my prediction be more right than a lot of these fighters, if we just being real. Like Shakur was rocking with Lubin. That was like one of the easiest fight predictions to make if you watch Lubin's last fight on Pro Box TV, that the Virgil Ortiz fight probably wasn't going to be good for him, and he got smoked in 2 rounds. But somehow, probably because they came up together or something, or he knows them or whatever, Shakur picked him. So a lot of these boxers be getting it way wrong, and they be picking off of like emotion and personal friendships and stuff. I don't really do that. Like if I'm so close to a situation that I don't feel like I could be honest because it'll hurt someone's feelings or something, then I won't even give my opinion then, rather than look fake and biased and not put out something I really believe in. You know what I mean? Or I'll just throw that opinion out there, and then they're gonna have to be mad. It just depends on whatever the circumstances. But I think this is a dangerous fight. Like I said, even more so than Ryan, because Ryan, I don't even know what he was on. He was like throwing me off. He was acting too weird in the buildup. Brian Norman looks like he's actually training. But Devin Haney, he looks big. He looks like he's training. I think Brian Norman needs to tighten up. You know, a lot of people were talking about the fight where he got dropped. You don't want to come in like on some foolish stuff. And you don't want to be overconfident too. I said this before, where you see Brian Norman's team, they're like pretty much like Devin can't, he wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight type thing. While on paper, Devin's power don't look that good. We still haven't seen him at 147. So people can surprise you. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to go in like you need to act. You need to, in my opinion, like if I was coaching Brian Norman, if I was his pops or whatever, coaching him, I was his trainer. You need to go in acting like this David Tua, Mike Tyson, and fight him. Don't fight him under the. I would say that to pretty much anybody. I don't believe in underestimation. Like I don't think you should go in like, oh, this guy can't hurt me, because I've already used this example. But Usman, when he had already fought against Jorge Masvidal was like, he hit like a princess. He can't hurt me. And then he got spun around or whatever and knocked out crazy in the octagon. That's what happens when you sleep on somebody. You know what I mean? Or just thinking somebody can't beat you or they can't stay disciplined. Like Devin is a disciplined fighter. Make no mistake about that. So Haney's more experienced than Norman. So don't go in there thinking that Devin can't fight a disciplined fight and perhaps stay away from your power. But again, this is why I love the fight. But for me, we're just talking about the formalities and the trash talk. The pre-fight trash talk is hyping me up. But from the face-off to the interviews, the Normans are cooking the Haneys, which is surprising because the Haneys have appeared at the higher level in terms of who they fought, and they've been in these big moments. In this Atlanta team that really ain't been in the big moments, they're conducting themselves pretty well. So I do like that for the Normans, that I like when people don't appear to be their circumstance. Just think about what I said. When you don't appear as your circumstance, meaning if you're desperate and you need money bad, but you go to a job interview, you don't want to convey desperation. You don't want to convey an imagery of like, oh, I need this job, please, man. I got these cheeseburgers, man. Like that is not attractive to a company looking to hire somebody when it looks like you're down bad. You can be down bad, but again, I respect it when you don't act like your situation, right? Meaning you're down bad, you need the money bad, but then you act like you worth $1 million at the job interview, right? That's what Brian Norman is doing. He's never interviewed for a job like this before, right? But he got on his Sunday best, his Stacey Adams, his Kirk Franklin shoes, and he's looking the part to this point. Now the rest of it is whatever he does in the ring versus Devin Haney. Now that's the trifecta. Like you took the fight, you're looking the part and conducting yourself well with the trash talk and whatnot. Now to connect all of that, you got to win. You know what I mean? And make good on your promises. But so far, for the inexperienced team, they're not really so much acting inexperienced. Like FLoyd Mayweather used to punk dudes. Like the B-side, he used to punk them. Like Robert Guerrero and guys like that, he would like punk them, right? Remember the green screen where Floyd's like, I'll get as close as I want you. You ain't gonna do something. You ain't gonna do something. And he's like, I'll give it to you how you want. I'll give it to you how you want. And he was like, toe to toe. He was like, all right, toe to toe. You still ain't beat me, right? Floyd was punking and he was right in his face. I'll get it. What you gonna do? I'll get as close as I want. You ain't gonna do shit. I don't know who you beat. I don't know who you lost to. See, Devin ain't the only one that know FLoyd Mayweather quotes. That's what makes it so disingenuous from Devin Haney is, bro, people like me, we been rocking with Floyd when you was a fetus, when you wasn't even thought of. So people like me that been in the game, got some skin in the game, earned my stripes. I got stripes like Yankee uniforms. Like we gonna know when you emulating somebody. You were better off emulating NBA YoungBoy, because if you was emulating him and trying to be like Grave Digger Mountain, right? I wouldn't necessarily know about that. Like, so I wouldn't be able to catch all the references. But you trying to emulate somebody from my generation, FLoyd Mayweather, right? That's what, like, you should have imitate Willie Pep or somebody that people don't know all the tapes to. We know Floyd. We know it for hard work, dedication. It's like Roger used to say, they can't be, you know what I mean? We know Floyd. So that's why it looks so bad that you directly stealing. And I agree with Norman. The kid is sounding like a robot. He literally malfunctioned. He was like, man, stop stealing Floyd line. Why are you stealing? Come up with your own flow, brother. And then he was like, you violate, I demonstrate, violate, I demonstrate, violate, and I demonstrate. Like, what the heck? Bro, you better get on Chat GPT and get some new lines and get a new script, the man really just kept repeating, violating hard work, dedication. Where is ya? Like, you just going through all of Floyd's life or whatever. 24/7 violate and I'll demonstrate like I said before. Bro, that was it was such a bad look. I don't even remember the last time somebody got like called out in boxing like that, like Devin just did. And again, like I said with the stand-up joke, it makes it worse that it's true. I don't care if Brian Norman loses. He could lose by a knockout. It doesn't change what they're saying is true. The Haneyacks don't like this type of reporting because it's real. They'll be like, oh, but Brian Norman's gonna lose. Whatever happens is gonna happen. I'm a man of faith. It's November 22nd. I'll see you there. Whatever, that's a fight prediction. It still don't change the fact the man is stealing FLoyd Mayweather's quotes and his whole aura. No matter what happened, oh, he's gonna get outboxed. He could get outboxed. He still stole from Floyd. And that's the bottom line. Let me know how I did. Pretty excellent, if I do say so myself. We Unpacked. Subscribe. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately,